Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Corey Richards welcoming you aboard Flight 059er, nonstop service from Chicago to Miami. Skies are clear and we're currently cruising at 30,000 feet. In compliance with the newly enacted FDD, Federal Department of DRIP, under Transportation Secretary Sean P. Duffy, I'm required to inform the passenger seated in 13B wearing prison-issued sandals, cargo pants, a Walmart-branded fanny pack, and a wife beater? Your apparel is no longer airworthy. By the power vested in me by the FDD, Title 13, subsection 69, the passenger in 13B is now required to come to the front of the cabin for deplaning.
Hey, now what are y'all doing? You can't do this to me. I paid for this seat. I'm American.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, there is no apparel process.
This is unconstitutional. I got a connecting flight.
Thank you for your cooperation. Folks, cabin service will begin shortly, so sit back, relax, and look sharp.
This is Yes We Canada, the Progressive's Guide to Getting the Fuck Out. Season 5, Episode 2, Fair and Unbalanced. This episode is called Straighten Up and Fly Right.
Hey, I'm Matt Zimble in Montreal. Oh dear, I think the American government is upset by our fashion choices.
U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is asking people to dress better when they fly.
Let's try not to wear slippers and pajamas as we come to the airport.
His request is being met with, shall we say, mixed reviews.
I wonder if Sean Duffy would say that if he had to sit through a 9-hour flight in a bra and a girdle.
Okay, I fly 4 times a week sometimes. I am tired of seeing people's cheeks.
And you know what? Sometimes we're upset by the government's fashion choices. Do you remember the Three Amigos Summit way back in March of 2006? Probably not. It was a trilateral, and God, I do love using words like that on the pod because it makes us feel like we're a legitimate member of the press pool. But here's the backstory. The leaders of Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. gathered at the majestic Mayan pyramids in the Chichen Itza. Canada was represented by a freshly elected Stephen Harper. George W. Bush Jr. was presidenting in the United States, and Vicente Fox was El Presidente du Moment of Mexico. Who remembers what they actually accomplished, but you can guess the goals. We need better security and freer trade, blah, 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 da. They all got along great. There was no doubt a few me casa su casas from Fox, a couple of it'd be splendid to host you fellas in Ottawa, eh? From Harper, and a solid son bitch, y'all come back now, you hear? From Bush. The family photo of the three amigos shows Fox looking very debonair in pressed white slacks, an elegant straw hat, and a linen gayubera. You know, those short-sleeved button-up jacket/shirts with 4 safari pockets on the front that Hispanic men love to wear for all occasions. Bush was turned out in his best commander-in-chief casual, a pair of tailored khakis and a white short-sleeve button-up. And Harper, God love him, was wearing baggy brown casual pants, a blue long-sleeve work shirt, and get this, a green khaki fishing vest. Prime Minister Harper, you nailed the trilateral fashion show, hook, line, and sinker. Canadians, not generally considered a fashion-forward people, were deeply embarrassed. Their newly elected leader, Stephen Harper, was a conservative economist by trade, and here he was at his first international event, and instead of looking debonair, he looked positively deboner. Canada is a leading G7 nation with award-winning men's clothing designers and bespoke tailors, and our dashing leader shows up on the international stage in a fishing vest?
I's to buy that builds the boat, and I's to buy that sails her, and I's to buy that catches the fish and brings them home to Liza.
So when Harper gets back to Canada, someone in upper management at the PMO, and that's the Prime Minister's office for my American exceptionalists, says this won't do. We need to get the boss a stylist and a personal image consultant.
Stand by and cue the voter blowback. Voter blowback, go.
What the fuck? The Prime Minister's paying a groomer? You mean I'm paying a groomer with my hard-earned tax dollars?
Just an aside, I wonder if in the entire history of political writing about voter outrage, has the phrase, "my tax dollars," ever appeared in a sentence without the phrase, "hard-earned tax dollars"? Hard-earned? I thought you quit your job 8 months ago. Anyway, well, there was voter outrage, and the PMO assured the populace that the PM's groomer, Michelle Mountain, who also had a side hustle as a psychic, was being paid by the Conservative Party of Canada and not Canada's hard-earning taxpayers. But that was truthy. What they really should have said was, the PM stylist will be paid by the Conservative Party after you enterprising journalists file your pesky Freedom of Information Act requests and find out that, oops, she's actually being paid by the hard-earning Canadian taxpayer. Airfare and hotel all over the world. Damn, that's a goddamn good gig if you can get it. Now, in the United States, your president has a body man. I guess in the old days they were called valets. And you exceptionalists are cool with that. You want your head guy to look sharp. But damn, our conservative Prime Minister of Canada fostered an image of your typical conservative economist next door. And he can't put on his own goddamn clothes without burning through my hard-earned tax dollars? Look, Freedom of Information requests give me PTSD, so we're going to wrap this one up and say the Conservative Party did eventually end up paying for Harper's valet, groomer, body, woman, whatever, and we never saw the fishing vest again.
Please stand and welcome the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, who'll be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
According to them, the president's not making the cut because of these jeans that he wore when he threw out the first pitch. What are you talking about?
They're kind of mom jeans.
Do you know what mom jeans are? Because I have no idea. I might have them on as I speak to you right now, wouldn't know. Which is weird because jeans are a particularly Canadian thing. No doubt you've heard about the Canadian tuxedo. Well, if not, you will in a minute as soon as we get clear of the mom jeans. Okay, so as you could hear from the clip, as presidents do, Obama threw out the ceremonial pitch at the season opener for the Washington Nationals game. He joked that it was one of the more stressful moments of his entire presidency. But hey, progressives, you can cheer. His pitch was considered wobbly, but it did make it to the plate. It landed in the catcher's mitt, and, well, democracy was saved. The problem was the pitcher-in-chief was wearing mom jeans. This was 2009, and if you look at the clips today, you'll realize that Barack Hussein Obama was just fashion-forward. Because now, 17 years later, everyone's wearing high-waisted, wide jeans, which might change by the time this airs. Obama likes his jeans high-waisted because he doesn't want to see your junk. My man is plumber crack negative and has no use for your pubic pants crackasserus.
Brothers should pull up their pants. Just pull up their pants. You know, you're walking by your mother, your grandmother, and your underwear is showing. What's wrong with that? Come on. You don't have to pass a law. But that doesn't mean folks can't have some sense.
But this really got the wags in Washington yapping.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to say a few words on a number of topics and take a few questions before the long Labor Day weekend. First, beginning with the number one thing that most Americans care about.
Is that a tan suit?
This morning,
oh my God.
Found out that our economy
the president's wearing a tan suit? The leader of the free world is wearing a suit that's beige?
Consumers are spending. Over the past 4.5
years, that's refreshing. No, not the suit. There's a president at a podium, speaking in clear, concise, articulate, truth-based sentences. Boy, it's been a while since we've seen that.
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world.
Yes, I know. You can't wait to find out what a Canadian tuxedo is and where you can get one. Quite simply, it's denim on denim. It was invented in Vancouver in 1951 when Bing Crosby, a famous singer and actor at the time, was denied entry at a swanky hotel for wearing a pair of jeans. This is shocking because I had no idea that Vancouver had swanky hotels back in the 1950s. When the American blue jean company Levi's got wind of Crosby being barred, they were deeply offended, outraged even. And as y'all get when you're mad, they got proactive. They commissioned a tailor to design a bespoke denim suit jacket for Bing. And with all the American pluck and arrogance we've come to expect from our entrepreneurial exceptionalist neighbors to the south, Levi's sewed a patch inside the jacket addressed to all, quote, hotel men, declaring that the denim was a sartorial choice suitable for entry into all and any hotels worldwide. Perhaps you're thinking right now, okay, but when should I wear a Canadian tuxedo in modern times? Well, I'm glad you asked. The next time Architectural Digest comes to shoot at your stunning palatial $18 million home, the shoot stylist will recommend that you wear a pair of blue jeans, a crisp white t-shirt, and an unbuttoned denim work shirt with bare feet. Good. That screams at home and relaxed. Smile. Say palatial. Okay, my exceptionalists. I know you and your short attention spans are busy, and that's good, because a podcast on the fashion choices of Canadian prime ministers will assure a short episode. Nonetheless, we couldn't avoid a quick glance at the Trudeau's père et fils, and then some. Dad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, governed Canada from 1968 to 1979, and then again from 1980 until 1984.
Well, there's a lot of bleeding hearts around who just don't like to see people with helmets and guns. All I can say is go on and bleed, but it's more important to keep law and order in this society than to be worried about weak-kneed people who don't like the looks of a soldier.
At any cost? At any cost? How far would you go with that? How far would you extend that?
Well, just watch me.
Oh, my homeboy sounds like a pretty tough dude, huh? Well, you know what he used to wear every day on his lapel?
Let me guess. A flag pin?
Nope. He wore a rose on his lapel every day. How does that work exactly? Does one rose last the whole day? Do you pick one up at the local bodega or dépanneur on your way into work? Does it come in like a little miniature vase? How does it stay on? Does it give your lapels fungus? If so, what's the best fungicide for peaked lapels? There are so many questions, but the principal question is, can you imagine if a politician showed up to a presser today wearing a rose on their lapel? Son bitch, stop cutting the goddamn roses and start cutting my goddamn hard-earned taxes. Then, in 2015, Pierre's son, Justin, became prime minister by taking the Liberal Party from third place to a majority government. Now, before he was Katy Perry's boyfriend, he was a politician. And before he was a politician, he was a theater teacher. So of course he liked to dress up, and sometimes even in blackface. But mostly, while prime minister, he limited the extreme costuming to his foreign visits, where, like most visiting dignitaries, he would do a few events dressed in the local ethnic wear for all occasions. He went to India in 2018 and shunned the very popular sleeveless Nehru jacket, preferring instead to go full Bollywood with a gold-threaded sherwani. Trudeau is tall, athletic, and dashing in a well-tailored suit. You remember the expression, right? Politics is show business for ugly people? Nope, not this dude. In fact, you can imagine a film casting director rejecting Trudeau for the role of prime minister in a movie because, politicians don't usually look like models. But Justin did have one fashion tick that I do not endorse. Silly socks. Socks that supposedly scream, corporate on the outside, rebel on the inside. Well, Justin Trudeau was a rebel with a cause, and that cause was tax cuts for the middle class, $10 a day daycare all around, greener energy, and legal weed. But when one looks at the Trudeau family canon of fashion, perhaps the most notorious fashion crime was committed by a member of the family who was celebrated not for what she was wearing, but for what she wasn't wearing. It's It's 1979. Margaret Trudeau, mother of Justin, wife of Pierre Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada at the time, is at the swanky New York City disco Studio 54, hanging out with Mick, Heath, and the boys. She's photographed signing an autograph. Her skirt is short, and gravity being what it is, reveals that the prime ministerial spouse is going full commando. For our younger listeners who should not even be listening to this segment, commando means no undergarments, pantyless, bush. And we ain't talking George W. You can find the photo on the internet. Really? Right in the middle of the podcast? Come on, you people are disgusting. We spent most of this podcast talking about fashion crimes perpetrated by male politicians. Refreshing, huh? Because usually, it's women politicians who take the brunt of the,
"Oh my God, what is she wearing?"
The outrage is endless from both the public and the media, which is one reason why female politicians have embraced the ultimate no-fuss uniform, the pantsuit. But there is another reason, which I did not know until our research department told me. Women politicians love the pantsuit because male press photographers have a perverted obsession with upskirt. I'll give you a second to process. The press holding pen is often below the height of the stage. The female politician is exposed while walking up a flight of stairs to a stage or an airplane, or relaxing in a swanky New York disco with the Rolling Stones. Okay? We're clear on upskirt now? The queen mother of the pantsuit is Hillary Clinton, and it all started with an unfortunate upskirt incident in, of all places, Brazil. It was 1995. She was First Lady, and at an event, one of the photographers accidentally, got an upskirt of Hillary and then sold it to a Brazilian lingerie line called Duloren, who made it into a billboard ad. And that was the last time Hillary wore a skirt to a political event. Can we pause here for a moment and ask, if the photographer was a woman, do you think she would have taken that shot? And if perchance she had taken it, by accident, do you think she would have sold it to a lingerie company? I have my doubts. My absolute favorite dress for success moment recently was the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly. On March 4th, 2025, only 10 months ago, but it seems like decades, MODIS, moron of the United States, Donald J. Trump, had just announced tariffs on Canada, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was some pissed.
Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
Standing stoically behind our pissed PM is our now former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly, wearing, check this out, knee-high black boots, black leggings, a military green double-breasted pea coat with brass buttons, a brass belt buckle, and epaulets. A kit that could only be called trade war chic for all occasions. Now, I know you guys were Googling Margaret Trudeau, Studio 54, Commando, but what you really should do is show some respect and Google Trudeau announces tariff retaliation YouTube. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, look at that. Joly is the one on the left. You can't miss her. She's the only blonde in army fatigues.
Now, we've been through tough spots before. But every time we've faced long odds and seemingly insurmountable obstacles, we've not only survived, we've emerged stronger than ever. Because when it comes to defending our great nation, there is no price we all aren't willing to pay. And today is no different. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Just so you know, the Honorable Melanie Joly is now our Minister of Industry, so I expect you'll next see her at a press conference in coverall, safety glasses, and a hard hat. Most of you already know about the infamous 2004 Super Bowl halftime performance in Houston of Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. In the last bar of the tune, Timberlake embraces Jackson and somehow manages to remove the right section of her bustier. A bustier is a French word. I think in the southern states you call them titty garages. Well, after this event, at the Super Bowl, the phrase wardrobe malfunction entered the American lexicon and was even nominated for the prestigious Word of the Year award by the American Dialect Society. Sadly, it lost to red states, blue states. Also, the Super Bowl broadcaster, CBS, was fined $550,000 U.S. by the FCC, which is substantially more than a table dance in Houston. Today we're reporting on another wardrobe malfunction. This one took place in Washington, D.C., and it involved a black woman as well, but it was not covered as enthusiastically as the Janet Jackson breast outplant. But it should have been. April 7th, 2022 was a chilly, damp spring day in Washington, D.C., but it was also a very historic day. After 232 years, the U.S. Senate was finally confirming a black woman to serve as a judge on the Supreme Court. Ketanji Jackson Brown would become the newest justice in what has to be the most toxic workplace in America these days, the Supreme Court. Every Democratic senator confirmed her. 3 Republican senators, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Susan Collins from Maine, and Mitt Romney from Mormon, Utah, also signed on. But Lindsey Graham, confirmed bachelor and senior senator from South Carolina, arrived at the Senate chamber not wearing his tie. Now, Senator Graham has only been a senator for 22 years, so it might have just slipped his mind that one cannot go on the Senate floor if one is not wearing one's tie. Therefore, the confirmed bachelor and senior senator from South Carolina voted from the cloakroom because he could not, come out to his seat. And how, you may ask, did the senator, a confirmed bachelor, also known as Lady G by a battalion of Washington, D.C. male escorts, who has opposed every piece of LGBTQ legislation that has ever been tabled on the Senate floor in the past 23 years, well, how did Senator Graham vote for the first black woman to be confirmed to the Supreme Court in American history? Why, he voted like every white Southern gentleman hypocrite should. Black woman judge Supreme Court? That'd be a no. Tieless, Lindsay? Maybe we should get you a clip-on. Or perhaps a strap-on.
When we fight, we win.
Kamala was firmly in the pantsuit camp, but she did have a little twist. She'd often wear Chuck Taylor's Converse sneakers on the trail, which the fashion police found amusing. It has to beat pumps. But the Converse couldn't convert an election. And we got this.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Understand this. Under President Trump, America's borders are closed to lawbreakers. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. Break it, and you'll find consequences. The choice is yours. America welcomes those who respect our laws, because a strong nation is a safe nation.
Yep, that's Ice Ice Barbie. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security and the chairwoman of cosplay in the Trump regime. The former puppy killer and governor of South Dakota has yet to see a military uniform she doesn't want to squeeze into just before a press conference. The more insignia, the better. Accessorize me. I am a secretary. Oh, that didn't come out right, but you know what I mean. Soldier, you using that AR-15? Because I need it for my presser. Yep, Kristi's always turning up in full battle gear, makeup and hair at ICE raids in LA's Garment District, at notorious jails in El Salvador, and at ridiculous Homeland Security raids all over the world. Part action figure, part suburban mom. She looks so much like...
ICE, open up!
Oh, shit. Look, I gotta go. Thanks for listening. Pi, now would be probably a good time to roll the theme.
Immigration Customs Enforcement, open up! You're under arrest!
Get your hands off me, you son of a bitch! You can't do this! I'm an American! I'm a podcaster! On today's pod, the roles of Captain Corey Richards, hardworking taxpayer number 1, and flagpin fella were performed by Sky Irwin. Over to you, Lisa.
This has been Yes We Canada. Our sound designer and engineer is Pi Salen Cutler. The theme was written by Doug Wild and Matt Zimbel and performed by Manteca. My name is Lisa Evans, and I'm your announcer. You can support the show with a paid subscription by going to yeswecanada.buzzsprout.com and hit the donate button. You can cancel anytime. Your support means a lot to our independent podcast. Thanks for listening. Until next time.